Good morning, Taiwan, and thank you for sharing your day with us. I am Louisa Lee. 欢迎收看 Louisa 报报，每天给你最新奇、最有趣的新闻。International envoy Kofi Annan is now in Syria, a day after the UN Security Council condemned the weekend massacre in the town of Hula, which involved heavy weapons that appear to belong to the Syrian government. While the Western leaders are pointing their fingers at President Bashar al-Assad's regime for the attacks, the Syrian ambassador to the UN, Bashar Jafari, said that investigation is still needed to determine who is responsible for the brutality that left more than 100 people dead. 西里亚呼拉镇传出屠杀事件，至少造成超过100人丧命，300多人受伤。联合国安全理事会特使 Kofi Annan 再度前往 Syria， 希望能够协助停止暴力，而目前整起事件也还在调查当中。It is regarded as one of the most vicious attacks in the 15-month-old uprising in Syria, with 34 children murdered. The UN Security Council had an emergency session on Sunday after scores of civilians, at least 108, were killed in the west-central area of Hula last Friday. Azerbaijan's deputy UN ambassador Tofik Musayev.
The members of the Security Council condemned in the strongest possible terms the killings confirmed by United Nations observers of dozens of men, women and children, and the wounding of hundreds more in the village of El Houle near Homs in attacks that involved a series of government artillery and tank shellings on a residential neighborhood.
In response, Syrian ambassador to the UN, Bashar Jafari, said that the government, which has denied any involvement, would get to the bottom of the bloodbath in Hula, while defending that the statement issued by the council was rather ambiguous in terms of who's to blame.
My government has established a national commission of inquiry tasked with the mission of finding out who are the perpetrators of this horrific massacre, so that they will be brought to justice.
Annan is set to discuss his 6-point peace plan with both President Bashar al-Assad and the opposition party during his visit. And now to other news. With new elections just around the corner, hundreds of hotel workers hit the streets again over the weekend for a 24-hour strike in crisis-struck Greece, protesting against austerity measures that could possibly cut their salaries by up to 40%. 希腊在6月17日将会进行国会重新改选，但是全球都还是相当担心希腊能否完成承诺欧盟的纾困条件。希腊国内反对紧缩政策的声音也不断出现。IMF 主席就强硬地表示，希腊人应该要多缴税，面对财政困境。
Hotel workers take to the streets in Athens as they stage a 24-hour strike. They are protesting against labor reforms ahead of new elections whose central theme continues to be deeper austerity. The June 17th runoff election has pitched parties against each other over the economic reforms that have slashed wages, jobs, pensions, and benefits while increasing taxes. The reforms are aimed at reducing the country's debt and are needed in order for Greece to be given aid by the European Union and the IMF. Greek Conservative New Democracy Party leader Antonis Samaras is warning that a vote for the radical left will drive Greece out of the Eurozone and into poverty.
If Greece condemns the bailout agreement, it will remain isolated internationally for many years and will be exploited by many from every direction. There will be no food, no medicines or petrol. At night we will live in a continuous blackout and our social cohesion will be torn apart.
Many are fed up with austerity. IMF chief Christine Lagarde added fuel to their anger when she criticized Greeks for not paying taxes. When Lagarde was asked by Britain's Guardian newspaper what she thinks about social service cuts in Greece, she said, quote, I think more of the little kids from a school in a little village in Niger, who get teaching 2 hours a day, sharing one chair for 3 of them, and who are very keen to get an education. I have them in my mind all the time, because I think they need even more help than the people in Athens. One woman would like the IMF chief to come to Greece and see what it is like.
Ms. Lagarde needs to come visit the people and not the politicians, so she can see whether we are hungry, how often we work, and what we have paid the state. Because when my husband has worked for 40 years and paid his dues, he has the right to a decent pension. It should not be cut, and they should not be increasing our taxes when we cannot pay them with the pensions we receive.
Polls show an overwhelming majority of Greeks want to stay in the Eurozone, but they also show 2/3 oppose the austerity measures agreed to for the bailout.
And now turning to entertainment news. The Cannes Film Festival has wrapped up already, but the buzz remains concerning the winner of Palme d'Or. Snatching the top award for the second time in 4 years, director Michel Haneke won the hearts of the judges with his stark film Amour, a wrenching tale about an elderly man who faces the deteriorating health of his wife. 第65届坎城影展奖项颁奖，由奥地利导演 Michel Haneke 以电影《爱 Amour》摘下影展最高荣誉的金棕榈奖。
The Cannes Film Festival came to a rain-soaked end, awarding Michel Haneke's Love the prestigious Palme d'Or on Sunday. The director's acclaimed tale of an elderly couple facing the inescapable yet no less tragic march of death. During a news conference after the awards ceremony, the filmmaker said it was a very personal movie because he himself had to face similar situations. The simple yet moving tale, set almost entirely inside a Paris apartment, left audiences in tears in Cannes, and it will prove to be a popular winner for a director considered one of the greatest working in Europe today. Haneke joins an elite group of 2-time winners at the world's biggest film festival after his The White Ribbon won the award in 2009.
And after taking a break for 10 years, the men in black suits are back again. And with their high-tech gadgets, they managed to steal the crown from the superheroes who were sitting comfortably at the top of the box office for 3 consecutive weeks. Will Smith 主演的《Men in Black 3》一上映就冲上北美票房第1，而且他在海外的成绩也相当亮眼，全球总共赚进2亿多美金。
Smith made his long-awaited return to the #1 spot at North American box office with his new sci-fi sequel, Men in Black 3, with an estimated $55 million over the weekend and an estimated $70 million over the long 4-day holiday, including Monday's Memorial Day holiday. MIB3 reunited Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, and with Josh Brolin being added to the cast of the new time travel story, the alien flick received fairly good reviews, earning B+ grade from Cinema Score. Rejuvenating a franchise after a decade was indeed a challenge, as audiences were attracted by the Avengers. Still, Sony reported that Men in Black 3 opened at #1 in 104 international markets this weekend, with an overseas ticket sale of 132 million and a global launch of 202 million, proving a series of red carpet premieres in Asia and Europe did help drive excitement in the markets. Sony is also reporting that the audience was 54% male and 56% over the age of 25, which indicates that families were probably not a huge contributor. While it had to settle for second place, the Avengers continued to break many impressive records this weekend. The superhero team-up flick eased 34% to an estimated 37 million, which is the second highest fourth weekend ever, behind Avatar's 50.3 million. On Saturday, the movie set a new record by crossing the 500 million mark in just 23 days in North American markets. Through Sunday, The Avengers has earned 513.7 million and is expected to pass The Dark Knight at 533.3 million by Friday to take over the #3 spot on the all-time domestic chart. International moviegoers added an additional 26.3 million this weekend, boosting the overseas ticket sale to 781.6 million and the global gross to 1.295 billion US dollars. The superheroes are also likely to surpass Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 to become the third biggest worldwide grosser. Battleship crashed in its second weekend at number 3 with an estimated 10.8 million, bringing the total ticket sale to 44.3 million, while The Dictator added an additional 9.6 million on top of its 31.8 million cum on its second weekend. Number 5 went to the new release Chernobyl Diaries, which opened poorly with 8 million US dollars. The film revolves around a group of young adults who were going to be terrorized at Chernobyl, but it was never clear who was doing the terrorizing. Audiences instantly disliked the film, as Saturday sales plunged 33% from the opening day, with the cinema score grade being a poor C+.
And that's it for this edition. I am Louisa Lee, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Meanwhile, stay with CTS for the latest weather update and for more top stories.